things were never better. I had the misfortune of spending the last 4 years watching our border be overrun. It's been nonstop. The agents' morale has been destroyed. It's been very difficult to watch. I testified at the Senate recently to get the word out. The public doesn't know. This administration has continued to say there's no threat at the border.
They lie!
We have a serious threat at the border that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed now.
That's heartfelt, too. That's heartfelt. Just wants it to be straightened out, along with one of the incredible people. Getting their endorsement was my great honor. But it says something. And we had unanimous, thousands of people, unanimous. Who could ever get that? Because she's so bad. She's so bad. I watched last night. I don't watch CNN often, it's fake news, but I watched last night. And then oops, the camera just went off. I watched last night. She did a town hall. It was pathetic. It was pathetic. There's never been anything like that. We can't let it happen. We can't. That's why you have to get everyone saying hello, and then you still get out. The people that haven't voted get out and vote. We can't take a chance. We can't take a chance on this disaster continuing because we won't have a country left if it does. The 4-year-long nightmare that Kamala Harris has forced your men to endure, your men, your women, your children. It's a nightmare for the whole planet, you want to know the truth. Because we represent so much. We represent the American dream. The whole world is watching us, and they see these people that don't deserve to be in any position of authority. Remember, he got, whether you like him or not, I'm not a fan of his. Did you see last night he blew it? He said, lock him up. He's not allowed to say that. He's such a stupid guy. He's such a guy, whatever. But they actually, remember this was they took it away from him. They did something that's never happened. You know, you can use different words, but they just took away the presidency of the United States. And they wanted to be politically correct. They gave it to her. And she was last. She was the first one out. And she came in out of the top 13 contenders. She came in last, and they gave her she got no votes. She got 14 million, whether you like this guy or not, and not too many people are thrilled. And, you know, if you remember, we had a debate, and he didn't do great in the debate, but you know what? That's what happens. And he went down, and he was not doing great, but you got to let him ride it out, right? Instead, they took him out. They said, "You're coming out. We're not going to let you." They tell this to the president. This is crazy, Nancy. She's crazy as a bed. She's a nut job. It's crooked as hell. Listen, she started off with nothing. 2 weeks ago, a company that was going to be investigated the following day, she had a lot of stock in the company. She sold the stock the day before they announced the investigation of the company. I think she's immune from investigation. Can you believe? I think she's immune, but not a good person. So when I win on November 5th, the migrate, and remember this, we're going to win. I think we're going to win maybe bigger than anyone understands. Invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. Has imported into our country. Essentially, say open borders. When you say open borders, and then they say we're going to give you health care, education, we're going to give they're forced to come up, right? Sheriff, you look good, handsome guy. But they come in. It's like a magnet. They come in. They're promised everything. In New York, they get hotel rooms, luxury hotel rooms, and our veterans are forced to sleep on the streets. But it's a savage Venezuela prison gang formed in the prison, Tren de Aragua, that is taking over apartment complexes and unleashing a violent terrorist spree. This is, in that case, in Colorado. And the governor, who's a radical left Democrat, is petrified of the situation. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. Replace him. I think we replace him. I hope Colorado, with the governor this week, Colorado was the one that tried to get Trump. I'm leading every candidate, including the Democrats, on the ballot. And they put in a petition to have me removed from the ballot. And then they say, they didn't get very far, but this guy tried that. So, and then they say, I'm a threat to democracy. I'm a threat. You're a threat. But they even are taking over parts of Times Square. They're all over the place now. And they have weapons like very few people have. So let's take a look.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis, record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America. It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about market crime, this is what they're talking about.
San Antonio, Texas, just one of the latest cities to have apartment complexes taken over by members of the Venezuelan gang.
Biden and Harris have created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented cross-border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE.
Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members have been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
If they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Martinez and Angel wrapped his arms around Jocelyn's neck, took off her pants, and climbed on top of her. Later strangled Jocelyn to death and then tied up her hands and feet.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
The men threatened to cut off her fingers if she did not cooperate. Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
A Peruvian gang leader who is wanted for 23 murders, who was arrested by Border Patrol near Rolla, Texas, then released into an army.
That's what we have. Thanks a lot, Kamala. We appreciate it. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. We're not going to have this. November 5th, 2024 will be called Liberation Day in America. 13,099, this information right from the Border Patrol, not even believable. 13,099 illegal alien convicted murderers were set to prey upon the United States of America. Think of that. And 425,000 convicted criminal aliens were released into our country over the last 3.5 years. Think of that, 425,000. Last year, an illegal alien was arrested at the Arizona border and then released into the United States by Kamala's horrible open border policy. He went on to repeatedly rape and strangle a woman, killing some, they don't know how many, and is now facing over 100 years in prison. Thank you very much, Kamala, we appreciate it. Through our open border, Kamala Harris is also actively aiding and abetting the worst human traffickers, child smugglers, drug dealers, bloodthirsty criminal networks. We have them all, the worst murderers in the world. They make our criminals look like nice people. The cartel's profits have soared from $500 million a year under Trump to $13 billion under the border czar, Kamala. And every day they're stealing innocent lives on both sides of the border. They're killing people left and right. Nobody knows it. The fake news right back there, they don't want to report it. The rallies, and they always do. The other day, one of my friends said, you know, we love the rallies, but you put up these great clips that are very descriptive, and the fake news will not put the camera on the clips. I didn't know that, you know? I just heard that. And we tell them to do it, but they don't do it. They just keep that camera zoomed in on me, such a waste of time. Now we have some clips, they're great clips, and the people at home, we got millions of people watching on television, but they won't move those cameras. I try and shame them, I do whatever I can. They're just bad people. And until we get a fair and free press in this country, they're just bad people. They're the enemy of the, I've been asked not to say it, I don't want to say it, they're the enemy of the people, and someday they're not going to be the enemy of the people, I hope. Just days ago, a young U.S. Marine Corps veteran named Nicholas West, from right here in Arizona, you know about it, was driving through Mexico for a beach weekend, just a weekend with his friends, a really good guy, good kid, when he was viciously gunned down on the highway and murdered by members of a Mexican cartel. And it was brutal, for no reason whatsoever. And we're joined today by Nick's wife, Carrie, his father, Warren, his mother, Patricia, his sister, Alexis, and his brother-in-law, Phil. Can you please stand up wherever you are?